Stand fam, we need to have a discussion. There's a YouTuber by the name of JT Smash. Now, from what I've been able to gather, he is a respected long-time voice on this platform. However, there is another long-time voice on this platform that I also enjoy, and have enjoyed their work for a good number of years. I would say I was enjoying them when they were on their previous platform, when they were on The Escapist. I am of course referring to the person who refers to themselves as Jim Stephanie Sterling. Yes, that Sterling. Now, I have spoken about Sterling in the past, praising them. Well, praising maybe is too strong a word, but acknowledging that since they made a particular change in their life and how they live it, that their work on YouTube and within gaming media culture has become elevated to a level that I personally believe is some of their best work they've done in years. Now, let's go back a little bit. When back in the day it was Jim Sterling on the Jimquisition, back in The Escapist, there would be a weekly video thereabouts, and back then Jim would really be able to break down not just video games and video gaming, but also discussion topics within that, which is partly what got me thinking about doing this kind of thing before I really ever thought about having a channel. I liked what Jim at that point was doing. Over the years I found out that Jim was, as they say, batting for the other side. Never bothered me. I have many friends who are of all the rainbow. That doesn't bother me at all. Like it never bothered me as a metalhead when I found out that Rob Halford was gay. The music was still awesome. Rob still has an amazing voice. End of discussion. And you figured that would just be how it is. Then, a few years ago, Jim stopped being Jim and became Stephanie, taking on board various treatments and going through various psychological evaluations to start living their life in the body that they believed was what they were supposed to be. And when Jim became Stephanie, Stephanie's life really began. And I honestly mean that. I have watched this particular creator grow and flourish. And even though YouTube has sought to take some of their speaking power away, I have seen their content improve as they were basically able to unshackle themselves from their past trauma, through all the things they'd been through, and they'd spoken about on their podcast and in some of their video and occasionally in some of their written works, but mostly in podcast form. And because they now feel they are who they're meant to be, or a damn sight closer to who they're meant to be physically, this has had an impact emotionally. And I just feel that Sterling's work has just basically become elevated. The writing is better, the jokes are pithier, the movement against the greedy corporatization of the games industry and the various terms that Sterling has come up with to describe it. Confusopoly, the way that the take the absolute mickey out of the term AAA, the various terms that Sterling has come out with over the years have proven time and time and time again that not only is their mind sharp and their humour on point, but that the way that they're treated by large swaths of the community is simply unfair. In some cases downvoted just because they've transitioned. That's it. And it's something we've seen again and again and again through many walks of life, from politics to sport to entertainment to gaming, you name it. When someone decides to take control over something they initially had no control over, but have known all their lives, or have come to realise at a critical point in their life that that is not what they feel they are, and that's all we really have when you get right down to it. As an individual, you can only feel who you are. You can't have somebody else feel who you are, can you? I wouldn't think so. So for JT to come along and describe Sterling by their old name, effectively dead naming them, which is just flat wrong, and then describing their transition as a form of mental illness, aside from being deeply rude and disrespectful, is just, but quite frankly, bordering on a hate crime. And I personally will raise my voice against such moves. I have a whole bunch of people in my life who have either transitioned, about to transition, or are mid-transition. And I'll tell you something for nothing, ladies and gentlemen, the Zen fam. All those people I know, at the point where they moved forward, at any point along that journey, I have seen those particular humans become happier people. It's that simple. So, for me, the idea that a trans person is a human and therefore afforded human rights as much as any other human, black, white, rich, poor, regardless of ethnic identity, religious identity, social identity, position in the social pecking order, we are all humans. And the ideal is for us to all be equal. Now, yes, we do not live on a perfect planet. We do not live in a perfect utopian society. This isn't Star Trek. But it doesn't mean we can't try. And regardless of whether or not you like the idea that Sterling has gone forward on a quest to present as a female with the various attributes of a female, shouldn't have any bearing upon their ability to do the job of a games journalist, or even a video game writer. What Sterling has done, a bunch of writing for video games, and has done a sweet wee job of it. So then to use that as a platform to discuss how you don't like how women are being portrayed in a more realistic fashion within some particular video game of the last 2, 3, possibly 5 years, just makes it all the more concerning. And you're not the only person to do this, JT. I've seen this back and forward across social media. Let me into you into a secret, JT. You know yourself that women are not all created equal, and that guys are not all created equal. There are some women who have a more masculine appearance, and there are some guys who have a more feminine leaning appearance. We're both, from what I can tell, Gen Xers. We grew up in a time of David Bowie, okay? We grew up in a time of Grace Jones, of Prince. And I could keep listing examples of what was unfortunately called in the 80s gender bending. People are different. Humans are different. We're only on this planet so long. Let people be happy. And if we're making these strides to having video games that are trying to imitate life, because art imitates life and life imitates art, then surely, if you have a woman with a slightly wider chin than you would normally expect to see outside of the copy of the front cover of an edition of Vogue magazine, then yeah, that's how life is, dude. And I say this to many other humans. Men and women come in all manner of shapes, sizes, heights, weights, body hair variation. It's just how it is. I've got some mates who are male, and if you look at them long enough, even though they haven't transitioned and they may not present as female, couldn't really know. I myself, I consider myself to be a very blokey bloke, and there's times that from behind, because of the long hair, I've heard, "Excuse me, love." It doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter. If someone is happy, great. If some developer decides that they want to make a female character who might just have a slightly stronger jawline than what you're used to seeing outside of the catwalk or outside of established, thinking on what a woman looks like as given to us by the mainstream media, fine. Because what should really matter to you, GT, as a gamer, is how well the game plays. How good is the immersion? How good are the controls? How good is the sound? Now, yes, gaming is very much a visual medium. Duh! I get that. I revel in it. I love it. But everything is a visual medium for us. We have eyes. Well, most of us. Some of us, admittedly, the eyes don't work. But we look at the world through eyes. We experience the world through our senses, our touch, our taste, our hearing, our vision. So when a video game is there and it presents us with even more forms of sensory interaction by what we see, what we hear, and what we feel, like especially through a dual sense where we have the haptic feedback. This is all good stuff. And if an artist has a vision for how they want their characters and their world to look and feel and sound and be experienced, then that's their vision. Would you tell Francis Ford Coppola how to make a Godfather movie? No. So do you want to tell Hideo Kojima how to make the next Death Stranding? Of course not. So don't go telling developers how to actually make a female form in a video game. Going to tell people, real actual life people, how to live their lives inside their bodies. Because we only get so long on this planet. You gotta make it happen however you can. It's that simple, JT. Now I'm sure you'll continue to make solid content because, as judging by what I've seen, you do know what to do, you do have a good on-screen presence. But on this particular point, I must completely and utterly disagree with you. And to Sterling, as a fellow content creator on this platform and someone that loves video games, I salute your work. You have done great stuff over the years, and I continue to love your YouTube channel and your podcast. I'm not so keen on the Trash Girl Diaries. It's not really a podcast for me yet. I mean, nothing wrong with the content. It's just not what I want. But the Gymquisition, Podquisition and Gymquisition, chef's kiss. So Sterling, you're doing great. JT, you need to have a wee bit of a re-evaluate your value set, bro. And as usual, I'm going to love you and leave you. # support Scottish YouTubers. And of course, as always, nae bother.